What's up and welcome back. We got a special guest today in Johnny Hodges. We're going to be talking about his pro day, diving into some questions about how it went. So let's get into it. And we're back. So first off, Johnny, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. I'm doing well. You guys got to update those. I think some of those guys got released and traded, right? You got to put D winners on there, but I'm doing
Dude,
good.
we low key need to. That would be
I
huge.
actually
You're not
forgot
wrong.
about doing that.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
We do.
Hey, that's on Maj. Maj did those, so you can blame Maj. No, I'm just kidding.
I got
Maj, how you doing, brother?
Doing great, brother. Doing great.
All right, awesome. So we're gonna go in, kind of ask Johnny some questions, talk about his pro day. Obviously, just experience it. So we thought it'd be cool to get kind of that perspective of what it's like being a college player. You know, going through your pro day, doing all those drills in front of scouts, you know, team representatives, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll just get it right into it. So first question is, what was your overall experience like at TCU's pro day?
So the Big 12 actually does like a combine like pro day. So basically, every school in the Big 12 did a pro day together, combine
Oh,
style.
nice.
So it was real competitive, and it was nice, to like size yourself up and be
100%.
watching on film for a couple of years. So it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's like when you do the pro days and it's just your team, like you're with your like friends, like you're with your guys, you know.
Yeah.
But doing it with like the whole Big 12, that'd be awesome because it does add that like competitiveness. Like you're competing at that point. Like obviously at a pro day, you're kind of competing with yourself and you want to, I'm sure, beat certain times and stuff like that. But I mean, when you throw in some guys you play against, you're like, oh, this guy's not beating me. Like, I'm sure it's kind of running in the back of your head. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I
Yeah.
mean, tough. They didn't like show you your time in the moment and stuff. So that sucks. So I'm just going off of like the murmurs from the scouts and what I'm hearing, agent and trainers. So you don't really know what other people are doing. But yeah. It was nice just, I'd see someone do a drill and I'm like, I want to try to do that better than them, stuff like that.
100%. 100%.
Now, how did you prepare for pro day? What was the training? What did the training look like? What did you focus on? Like, how did that all work?
Yeah, so I basically went to this gym called Atlet that sends people to the pros every year, and we basically broke the week down into 2 40 days, one lower body explosion day, one upper body explosion day, and then one like overall lower body and speed day. So kind of just followed that schedule, and you throw in position work after certain days and change of direction stuff. So they kind of put that all together, and I just followed that. So usually Mondays were a big 40 day, and then Fridays. Then Tuesdays would be like upper body lifts. Wednesday would be change of direction stuff.
Nice.
Thursdays would be lower body and explosion, and then Saturdays would be another like kind of start day and change of direction. So
when did you start training for the pro day? Is there like a specific day when you started training? Was it like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks, a month?
Oh, I started January 12th. So
January 12th.
Months. January, February, March. So basically 3 months.
Nice.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And do you think that made a huge difference?
For sure. I mean, my initial, times and like what my initial tests were so much worse than what I did. So yeah, for sure. And I wish for like 6 more months because everything would just get better once you get more comfortable with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I guess from what my perspective is like I played a lot of sports growing up too, and there's like there's obviously a speed that you test at, but then there's like football speed, right? So like there might be a receiver that runs, a 4.5 or 4.6, but when he's on the field, it looks like he's running a 4.3 because how he moves, So
got to kind of meet the expectation. Like I never was expected to run some crazy 4.5 low or something like that, but I didn't go out there and just completely embarrass myself. Like guys 4.9s, 5 seconds that were supposed to be a 4.6, 4.7 guy. So it's like
Yeah.
that's good for sure. But it took a lot of work to get there.
Okay. So, our second question was how did you prepare? We basically just dove into that with Mosh. So, third is were there any specific drills or skills you felt particularly confident in?
I knew I was going to kill the bench press. I knew I was going to kill the shuttle and the L drill.
Okay.
Like I was telling you guys kind of before we got on, I was a little surprised with everything with the hand time. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
telling me everything was a tenth faster. I'm talking to the Raiders scout and he's telling me my times were a tenth faster than the actual posted time. So I'm like, what the heck? But it is what
So
it is.
sick.
It sounds like they need to lock in, dude. Like they got to figure out their.
I think it's a tale as old as time. That's just kind of how it is,
Yeah.
But like I am happy with how I did, and I'm really grateful. So I knew I was going to kill those things. I knew I can run well. I knew I was going to do well in the 40. It was a little bit slower than I thought, and I had been going in training, so I was a little bummed about that. But still, just kind of given the nature of how the time seemed a little slow, it was good. I knew jumping wasn't going to be my best thing, but it still went pretty well for me. So I didn't there and just completely shit the bed.
Yeah, and two, I'm sure you have conversations with these scouts and stuff, and obviously with our first interview. First off, if you guys haven't seen the first interview, go check it out. It's on Maj's channel. We kind of dove into his career at TCU. But back to my question is, I'm sure you're talking to these scouts, and I'm sure they already know that you're, in the first interview you talked about you're a player that relies on instincts. You rely on scouting film and having like using your brain, not necessarily your speed, and that allows you to overcome like those certain skill sets that you aren't like necessarily top level talent in, right? Yeah. All right, Maj, hit the next one.
Next question. What was what we just talked about? What was the best part about Pro Day? What was the most challenging part about Pro Day? And how did you overcome that?
I think the most challenging part was just kind of the nerves. Like, it's a
Dude, I would be nervous too.
Yeah.
I'd be really, bro.
I felt completely alive, but like, the anxiety, the nerves, the excitement, all of that, it's a 3 or 4 hour thing. So that's all going nonstop. And you're just like, holy cow. But like, I knew I worked as hard as I possibly could leading up to it. And I knew no matter what my results were, I couldn't have done anything better. Like, I know I couldn't have. So I think just reminding myself of that, I've been doing a bunch of like mental health stuff always in the off season, right? So just using those tricks and techniques I've been reading about helped. And then just knowing like, this isn't the end all be all. This is just something you have to do. And it was fun. Like it was something I'd never experienced. It was almost like I was doing a decathlon, like the Olympic. One thing, another thing's jumping, then you're sprinting, then you're changing direction. Then at the very end, it's football drills. So
yeah.
But the hardest thing was just not knowing your times. Like I get back to the 40, my agent and trainer tell me a time, and I'm like, oh, bet. And then you're like, I'm riding high. I think I'm doing really well. And then I saw the times, and we're like, what the heck? So that was probably the hardest thing. I wish I'd known in that moment.
Yeah.
But also that's probably a blessing because let's say you go and you lay an egg in a drill, and then you let that carry on the rest of the day. So
yeah, it could kind of ruin that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So this question we kind of dove into already, but did you receive any feedback from NFL scouts or coaches? It sounded like you did from the Raiders guy after your 40. Was there kind of any other?
Yeah. So those were just kind of like, I ran my 3 cone and a couple of scouts had me at a 6.9, just hearing that walking by. But I haven't talked to any scouts after, so that's a bummer. But also it's like my agent said, talking to him, I did everything well. Like I turned some heads, some drills, stuff like that. So, I'm happy. And then I met with some teams before, which, was cool talking to them, just getting to know. So
nice.
That's awesome. Now we kind of this is kind of the same question, but how did it feel to perform in front of those scouts and team representatives? Like you kind of just said, it was like nerve wracking, but exciting, but like, how did you feel performing in front of all those guys?
I felt good. I didn't feel like a high pressure situation because I don't know the scouts. Like I don't know them by their face.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Bill Belichick's over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just run as fast as I can, and you're like, that's kind of just how it was.
You were zooming. I saw the video. You were zooming.
Yeah. I ran real well.
So wait, what was your
Good.
40?
4.74, which
Yeah, faster than I like.
but it's fine.
You would smoke me in a race. Absolutely smoke me.
Cool.
Like,
No, literally. Okay, so what we kind of already kind of dove into this one as well, but what was your mindset heading into pro day? Like, especially at so much at stake with your future on the line. Like, you're obviously your end goal is you making it to the NFL and really playing. So what was it like? Kind of, like what was your mindset heading into that?
I think you have a ton of different emotions and thoughts. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, I don't really, there's so many thoughts going through your head. Like, it's hard to explain, but ultimately leading up to it, I just wanted to be the best I could be. So the best I could be was, the months before, working as hard as I can, knowing my technique, maintaining my technique, not thinking too much and just running. Right. So
Yeah.
leading up, it was basically just be the best I can be and then just be unembarrassable, unoffendable, unirritable. Like, I'm not going to be embarrassed no matter what I do because I did my best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be irritated if someone says something or gives me a subtle chirp or something like that. Like, it is what it is. And I'm not going to be offended. Like, let's say none of the scouts talk to me after, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Move on.
I could. So kind of those four things just made me very confident and relaxed.
So are you talking to yourself? Like, are you talking to yourself in your head, like reminding yourself of these things as you go throughout the pro day, or
Yeah, I
how
think
did?
so. I think
Yeah.
so. Maybe not like to that standard, but you're definitely like I'm big in just kind of visualizing it and then let's focus on two things, right? Like I can't memorize when you're running a 40, there's so many things like that go into it.
Yeah.
But when I'm running, I just think of swinging my arms, stick
Mhm.
my ankle, so you're on the ball of your foot. I'm like, I can think of that while I'm running.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm thinking about. When I'm changing direction, I'm like, stay low. That's all. Stay low
I-
'cause my brakes better.
Yeah.
this isn't even a question, but out of your whole college career, was this the most like nerve-wracking moment for you? Like, was this like, holy crap, this is pro day, or was a game like your most nerve-wracking moment? Was this the most nerve-wracking moment in your college career?
It was definitely a unique one because it was the only one you were completely alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a different kind of like nerve-wracking fear thing. Like when I'm with all the guys on the team, it's nerve-wracking, right? You're going up against big linemen, big running backs, big receivers, big tight ends, fast guys, this, that, strong, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you're with 10 other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just do your job, like we're going to be just fine. But there was no one else. Like your job was you, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
completely different kind of feel. But I don't know. It was just so different because there was no like getting ready for a game. Like the more film I watch, the more comfortable I get, and then I know I've done everything I could, right? And then it's like I don't know what to do. I've never done these events ever in a combine setting, so it was definitely different for sure.
What skills or attributes kind of like do you think set you apart from other players at pro day?
I think just kind of my mindset. Like I was definitely out there, not waiting for someone else to tell me what to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
our warm up time started at 2:15. I didn't see any of the other linebackers warming up, but I saw some of my buddies who were D linemen still kind of running and stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna start warming up here on the side. Like I don't care what these other guys are doing or what these scouts say. Like I'm getting warmed up to run as fast as I damn can.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, and then going in, like I wanted to kind of establish a rapport with the other guys because one, I've watched these guys for a while on film. Like you
Mhm.
watch, you don't really want to watch them and stuff, but you do. You have to, and judge them and grade them out and stuff. So I wanted to go up to them and talk to them and get like kind of a relationship. Because then I'd be like, hey, this is just a workout with my friends. This isn't something.
Yeah.
The importance of it. So kind of just doing that really helped me.
Beauty.
Okay. And then, do you think your time at TCU prepared you well for this like moment, and if so, how?
Oh, most definitely. I think at TCU, one, we do a bunch of change of direction stuff during our workouts. We never really taught how to get in a 3-point stance and run a 40, but we do like the L drill, the 3-cone drill, stuff like
Yeah.
that. That really helps. And then just kind of TCU does a good job making pressure situations. Like everyone has to touch the line. If one person doesn't, then everyone has to keep doing it and
Mm-hmm.
pressure, and that builds up this and that. So that definitely helped. It couldn't have hurt.
Nice.
Now, what did you learn about yourself through this process?
I think I just kind of reiterated that the best I can be is always good enough. Like my best was well good enough. I looked really good compared to the other guys, and I felt really good, and I just felt like I belonged. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Now last one is, what is your ultimate goal now that pro day is behind you?
I mean, I think that's obviously obvious. Make a team, man. I'm
Yeah,
a guy. Like I can't wait to see if I get a priority deal or if I'm undrafted all the way, whatever it is. Like, I just want a chance. And, hopefully it's a good situation. God hasn't done me bad this far. And like I said, the best I can be has always been good enough. So I don't think that's going to change.
Hopefully, it's the Niners.
Yeah.
literally,
Well,
that's what we're
this
hoping
is
for.
this isn't even a question, but are you big into March Madness?
Huge. Yeah. I made a
Who do you
bracket.
got winning? Who do you got winning?
I have Florida.
Florida.
Wow.
I think it's got to be Duke, man. Duke's just too good.
I know I have them in the finals. I couldn't have them win it. I don't know. I felt like Duke, but everyone did Florida, it seems like, in my bracket. So,
Florida's a good team. There's a bunch of good teams in there, man.
yeah.
There is.
Yeah, there's a bunch of teams in there. Well, all right, that's gonna do it for this video. Like I said in the first place, if you haven't seen the first one, go check it out on Hodges' channel. It was before the pro day. It was kind of right when the season ended. We're talking about his career at TCU, and then this one obviously is about the pro day and him getting to the NFL draft. So that's gonna do it for us. Link down in the description for Maj's channel, and then we're also going to put the link down in the description for Johnny's Instagram. You guys can go check him out and support him along his journey. So with that being said, peace.
Peace out.